When your old career gives you lemons, throw in some ice, mix in some vodka, and call it a podcast. From the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport, and driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for getting your pot on. Tell a friend, subscribe. You find us by searching YouTube, Billified. Anywhere you get your pot on, you can find us. If you like to listen, places like Spreaker.com. Where else do people get podcasts, Eddie?
Everywhere.
They do now, right?
Yeah, pretty much. YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's a big one. We just search Billified. All our episodes are up there, and you can see Danny in all his glory. What hat is that, Dan?
Oh, it's just a white.
It looks like a
golf hat.
Oh,
I guess, or
yeah.
I don't know, one of those.
Peaky Blinder.
Yeah, I don't know what they call them, but I like it.
You look good.
Thank you.
You look good. I've been looking up things that people look up on the internet, like what people are searching just in terms.
I was going to say, usually that's how it works.
No, but what are the most popular searches? What are the searches that people are doing? And I'll ask you, have you ever been in a room full of people laughing, talking, phones are buzzing, and you still feel like you're the only one not actually there? In some way, you're on airplane mode. Ever felt that way?
I don't know. I don't understand what you mean by that.
Kind of like you're disconnected because one of the most searched emotional questions on the internet consistently is, why do I feel lonely
When the crowd is so many people.
even when I'm surrounded by people? Why do I feel lonely even when I'm surrounded by people? And it's not about being alone. That's not what they're saying. It's about being around everyone and still feeling like something's missing.
Oh yeah, I've been there. I think everybody has at some point. It's you don't want to remain there. You don't want that to be your life.
Right.
I think everybody's been there at some point. Like I've had that feeling where I don't belong here. This is not my crowd. This is not my scene.
Yeah,
But then I remove myself.
But what people are saying isn't even that, like, not my crowd, not my scene, as much as it is, I'm around all these people and yet I feel very alone. Why is
You're
that?
not one of them.
I don't even
Whatever
know.
that is.
Yeah, but that could be. I mean, that really could be. I don't know.
Or are you so trapped in your own little world, isolated, comfortable in your own isolation that you get lost in your own thoughts and your own feelings that's how you feel it. You've done it to yourself. I could see it many ways.
I don't. When I saw this, I thought, I think it's a loneliness from a lack of depth. I don't think people really deeply connect anymore. I think that everything is a performance, more or less.
I could see that.
And in a way, like on social media, or I don't want to say anything, something that's really will reveal myself, maybe my political values, my religious, my cult, whatever, because I don't know how people are going to handle it.
Because we act like social media is reality.
Yes.
Instead, it's really just the fun house mirror.
Right. Because back in the day, I feel like it was risky to kind of get some depth with somebody. It took time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you got to know people. And
you would invest your time in someone, the more and more you got to know them.
Right.
And the more and more common ground that you had. So then you would feel more comfortable sharing certain things.
And now it's
you didn't just come walk into a party and go, I'm a Republican. I mean, that's what people do on social media.
Yes. And I think that, but I
have things to say.
I think now these relationships are more curated than they are risky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that
people don't want to be canceled.
And I think, yes. And I think that fear is what is leading people to like loneliness.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
I'm lonely.
I remember making a statement once on social media, on Twitter, and getting annihilated by people, like nationally, like badly.
Yeah.
Canceled. And then a few years later, I was vindicated. And now this past week, I've been vindicated yet again.
Really?
And it's hysterical. But then we found out, this is before Elon took over X. What they were doing was they were weighing social justice posts in every form. You couldn't make fun of certain groups of people. The only group of people you could make fun of were white dudes. Everybody else you can't touch. And I wasn't making fun of anybody. I was just making a point about certain people who have a narcissistic behavior and how it doesn't fit in the work that they do. If you want to do that, go ahead and put it on Instagram. If you want to do that, go ahead and put it on your Facebook page. But when you put it on X, now you are trying to show the world your boobs or your butt or whatever. And you're a reporter? To me, that was my point.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I made a point about there was a certain reporter in sports media that they took a picture of herself. Well, somebody else took the picture of her getting out of the pool in a bikini, boobs hanging out, and basically setting up what the kids call a thirst trap. Okay. In other words, I want guys to just drool over this and like it. But you're a reporter. And if you want to put that on your Instagram, where you have your own people, you could just curate to figure out who can follow you. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. You want to put a vacation photo up? That's fine. You want to put it on your Facebook, but we put it on X or Twitter. Now you're trying to show the world something else about yourself that's not necessary. And I just pointed that out, and I got annihilated for it.
Like what? In what way?
You're a bigot. You're a misogynist. You don't understand. You're trying to tell women how they could glorify their bodies. You're the reason why women can't get ahead in the world. I was getting killed by ESPN people all over the place.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I don't.
And all I was saying was, like, if you're that good at your job, why do you need to put up a picture of you and your boobs?
Yeah.
For what? What purpose did that serve?
Was it their own personal
it was their own
handle?
Yeah, it was their own Twitter, but it's like people use Twitter for reporting and news. If you're in media, you use it to report things. Yeah. You're not using it as your own personal. No. I mean, I guess you could.
Yeah, a lot of I think that videos don't usually do as well on X as just a statement does.
Yes.
And I think like videos are better for other platforms. And I think people are figuring that out. I don't know. I don't get that invested in it. I know what you mean and to have an opinion about it.
This was half a decade ago.
Yeah. I don't think that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like real connection with real people. Why did people sit in a room? Why you go to dinner with 5 people and people are passing around videos that they saw that were funny, but no one's really connecting. And I think that's more what I'm talking about, where people aren't, that loneliness it's there, it's real. And I think that it's more because people go, well, it's social media. Everybody's on social media. Yeah, it may be. I think it's that I think that the climate of the world, people get nervous about having to connect. I think that, or afraid to connect, afraid to have an opinion. Like, look, you just shared a story where you shared an opinion on social media and it came back on you pretty heavy. I think people don't want to deal with that. And I think the other thing is that it's just easier to surface than to go deep.
Right.
And
but depth is where you get the gold.
Yes.
The limb is where you get the fruit.
Right.
That's where you could connect and trust and engage with somebody.
Right.
Instead of this surface level, stuff that you see on social media all the time. Like 400 people like this, and it's a picture of you and your dog.
Yes.
Great.
It's nice.
It's nice.
You know about people, but do you know the people?
Right.
And I think that human connection, that real thing, that's what people are talking about, the loneliness. I think what you talked about was a fantastic example as to why people aren't connecting. Right. I think it's a fantastic reason.
I saw another picture on social media yesterday, and so it was the Masters. On Saturday, it was the Masters golf tournament, and everybody was celebrating a hole-in-one. Everybody had their hands up, and there were no phones in sight.
Well, they can't have them at
right.
Augusta.
Yeah. Right, you can't do that at Augusta. Augusta's got a ton of rules that you have to follow, or they'll kick you out.
Somebody did get kicked out.
I'm sure they did.
No, maybe a former champion on the first day.
Oh, really?
Had a phone.
Okay.
And he didn't. And when asked about it, he goes, "I broke the rule."
But that's golf. But the point is, though, is that like nobody had a phone. Everybody was celebrating the moment.
Right. Very different.
Not like with their phones out. I'm going to tape this and see what happens.
Very
no,
different.
They were actually in the moment.
Well, the problem is, yes, and I think that, like the example of 5 people sitting at dinner, that's not connection. That's everybody watching a group watching a movie. Is what it is. When you're passing your phone around, hey, did you see this? Hey, did you see this? And it's funny because I felt like I sort of connected with my old college roommate. I went to see him He was in town, and we talked about our lives and our kids and our stuff. And you felt like you got a picture of where he was at now, and he got a picture of where I was at. And I thought that was kind of cool because we have optimized efficiency. We text instead of call. We did. That's the thing. And I remember making a phone call and my kid going, "Why are you calling them? Text." And I'm like, yeah, but I like talking. That's all I've ever done. I like to hear people's voices. I like to hear their reaction. I like to say something and hear, them laugh or, some kind of a reflection back to what I'm saying. I don't get that on a text. And
you lose like 89% of communication via text.
Yeah. Yeah. And
literally.
And I will tell you, I think that also people are trusting artificial intelligence for a connection and advice than they are other people in their lives. I really do. I don't know if there's any way to justify that. That's just a gut feeling I have.
No, it's true.
But I think that because you don't risk being judged, right? There's nothing there. And I think that a lot of times too, especially like even in male-female relationships, I think there's times where, somebody could get more in than the other person and is trying to read it. But when majority of the communication today is through text, how do you do it and stay in your lane? And you got to be a pretty grounded person to be able to react and take something that isn't very verbose and realize this is a warm, reflective, kind text that you don't need to read anything into. And I'm telling you, I think that when I read that was one of the most searched things, like I'm surrounded by people, but why do I feel so lonely? I go, yeah, because nobody, and it's not this, so much the bullshit of, well, everybody's, laying at home streaming. Maybe I just think that people aren't, even when they're together, are not connecting on a deeper level. I think there's a tremendous amount of fear.
Yeah, because I think we train ourselves. Such short. Yes. We're in a microwave. Well, we used to call it a microwave culture. Now it's a text culture. But I mean, like microwave, instead of like slow cooking, now they got this microwave. So now they can heat the food up and cook it faster, right?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like we were heating up and cooking our food with a microwave. Remember when microwaves cost like $1,000, right? They're super expensive. Like it was a luxury item to have in the 80s.
I think my parents got one. My grandparents had one. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That you push the buttons and it made beep, beep, beep.
Yep.
My parents got one and it had a fucking dial on it. I'm like, you cheap fucks. What is this? So, but that was one of the early ones.
Yeah, right. But like, and then we started sitting on our front porches, and then people started building decks. And what's in the backyard? Well, you got fences and shrubs and trees. So now your family isn't talking with your neighbor on the front porch anymore. Now they're going to the back and they're talking among themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just a natural progression of how we have lost, touch, and it's just easier to text on demand. It's quicker. And then all of a sudden we talk in text.
I will tell you that I think that what you're saying is something I have noticed and talked about for years in a different way, that central heating and air conditioning separated us.
Oh, yeah.
And I guarantee you that there's somebody listening to this podcast right now who has texted somebody from another room to come join dinner or something, texted them or called them.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee it. In the same square footage, however big the square footage is, that's it. And I think that may be part of the problem, because think about it, Danny. Track your sleep, track your calories, you track your steps. How well do you know somebody? We have all that technology to do those things, which are beneficial. They're good numbers to know, right? And even there, even if you're like, get my steps today, and someone joins you on steps, but what are you connecting? And I don't know. I would love to know the gender.
Yeah, it's like a glorified spin class. Then you're done.
Yeah.
You go on to the next thing.
Yeah. The gender of the people that are searching this. Because I feel like women are just more emotionally intelligent than men. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it but I don't think guys search these things. I would think that guys don't.
I think some do, but I think it's mostly women. I mean, there's a trend of guys, like the term incel. When you and I last worked together, the term incel was not a thing.
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. It's celibate or involuntarily celibate.
Oh.
In other words, I want to have relations, but I don't because I can't find anybody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to find anybody. I'm going to just go play video games and watch adult films and just be by myself and stream videos. And that's okay because I could just do that.
Yes.
You know, and there's a subculture of, I'll call them boys.
Yeah.
That have been doing that since they were 8 years old. And now they've grown into supposedly men, but they're still boys.
Yeah.
You know, I would bet that it's mostly women asking this question because women have to feel, they have to connect. And I think men want to, men want to, boys don't necessarily.
I think that you touched on something too when you said the person who puts a picture up of their dog and they get 400 likes.
Yeah.
You know, how connected you look to how connected you feel are very different things.
Right.
10,000 followers does not mean 10,000 friends.
No.
You know, 3,000 likes does not mean 3,000 loves. I mean,
when I was on Facebook, I had like 4,000 people. I know it's because I was in radio. I knew maybe 80 of them.
Right. But here's the question I'll ask. 10,000 followers. Shit goes sideways at 2 a.m. Can you call any of them?
Right. Maybe one. Maybe one.
And hopefully you got somebody.
Yeah.
Hopefully you have somebody. I'm just asking. Because, like, all right, in your marriage now versus your first marriage, which we've talked about, what do you not hold back anymore to make that connection deeper? You said last time we talked, you said you guys talk about everything. And I believe it. I believe you do.
What do we not hold back?
Yeah, I mean, what do you not hold back that maybe you would have before in your marriage?
My previous marriage, I would try not to talk about work because my ex-wife hated it. She hated the radio.
God,
she hated everything.
Okay.
She did a 180 as soon as the engagement ring went on her finger. Oh. She did a complete 180. That's why she's on her third marriage right now.
Okay.
And in 10 years, 3 marriages.
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot for a lifetime. But I mean, I couldn't talk sports. I couldn't talk about my job. I didn't talk about my job. I didn't necessarily talk about certain aspects of my family. I didn't talk about church after a while.
Yeah.
I could talk with my wife now about everything. And she was not into sports when we met. Yeah. All of a sudden, I come home from doing the podcast on a Thursday night. The Thursday night football game's already on the TV. I don't even have to ask. Do you want to watch the Seahawks and the Rams tonight? I'm like, you don't have to ask me that.
I get that. That's very nice and that's cool. I think most guys are not like that, and I think you learn that, and you get older and you get more comfortable, and maybe you chose a better partner, whatever that is. But I think most guys are trying to be peaceful and not.
There's a line.
Honest.
There's a line in a Tragically Hip song. He goes, "Do you think I bowed out?" They're talking about a fight. You think I bowed out, or do you think because I think you're right, or because I don't want to fight?
Yeah, right.
Such a great line.
Yeah,
it's like, oh gosh, okay, you win.
Yeah,
all right, fine.
Right, but I mean, even there,
but you're losing.
I think there's a way. Like if it gets to that point, that usually means somebody's been holding back for a while, and I do wonder as if this is a question that's being researched by people or searched by people on Google looking for an answer, right? What does that mean for future relationships? Do people know how to get actually deeper and understand their feelings and stuff? Actually, this could dovetail into something I want to bring up later on, but I just think that vulnerability and discomfort is something most people don't like because they don't trust that it's going to be.
It's uncertainty.
It's uncertainty. That's the biggest thing that I come back to with everything of human beings, from death to just, I don't know how people are going to react, so therefore I won't.
The unknown.
Yes. And we say we want connection, but we avoid it because we're not there.
Think about the girl you liked in high school.
Yes.
That you never tried.
Yes. Or that the practice.
Because you were afraid of rejection.
You got it. And I thought I was going to throw up when I asked her to the prom. Like I literally, because she knew, because I told everybody I wanted to ask her to the prom, and we're all hanging out outside the locker rooms, outside, because there was a door into the guys, door into the women's room.
West Beverly High School.
And I'm standing there, and I remember her name was Tara Sullivan, and I had the biggest crush on her. She was a year ahead of me. I was a junior, so she was a senior. And people are talking about the prom and this and that. And she goes, I don't know if anybody's going to ask me. And she kind of looks right at me because everybody told her I was going to. And I remember in that moment, no bullshit, I go, My stomach's really killing me right now. I froze. Like, and the thing for me, and I think I don't know. I'm finding out maybe as I get older that I'm a little bit different than a lot of people, I guess. And I don't mean that in a like some kind of neurodivergent way. I just mean like I just say shit. I always said shit, but that would have been more performance because I was trying to hide what I was afraid of, which was talking about being molested, right? And how much that really did fuck up my whole life, and impacted my life, right? So, and that was the thing. Like I couldn't ask a girl because I don't think I ever even made out with her or kissed her because I was afraid that she would think I was gay because I didn't know how to do it. Because I hadn't kissed a girl because I was afraid to kiss a girl because I thought she's going to know I did something gay in my life. Isn't that fucked up?
Yeah.
It's the most fucked up thing. But now I can talk about all that stuff. And I just remember that. And you're absolutely right. It's like you're afraid to ask that girl and you don't, and you miss out on an opportunity.
Yeah, you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff if you don't like open your mouth once in a while.
Well, the other thing is, even if she said no, you didn't learn how to sit with the rejection. You
Yeah.
didn't learn how to handle the failure.
That's part of growing up.
It's a part of life.
Yeah.
Fuck it, man. I'll show you guys in their 50s who can't handle that. Seriously. And so it's a real part. So win or lose, take that chance, take that thing. Try to make that connection. Don't go too fast.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But ride that connection. When was the last time you said anything that made the room uncomfortable? Can you think of a time you made the room uncomfortable?
Yeah, my class reunion in 20 years. I just made a comment about the situation and people got a sideways look. I'm like, okay, all right, we won't talk politics. And that was it. I mean, but like there were 3 or 4 people in my vicinity and they're like, look, I'm like, okay, all right, this is a touchy subject. Let's not go there.
Yes.
I immediately like scooped it up and saved it. But yeah, there were times when I've done that.
I just think that you don't get real connection from a what's up text. You get a real connection with, hey man, here's what's going on. I'll be honest. There are some friends of mine that I will absolutely just say this shit to, like whatever's going on. You know, if it's heavy stuff. I've had a lot of heavy things outside of the podcast and outside of school that has impacted my time with my son and stuff that there are certain people that I have just, I think for me, I'm not looking for somebody's empathy or whatever. I'm just going, here's what's going on. And when you're honest, I think people go, oh, okay. You're not judged. It's fucking life. And if you are going to judge me, okay, have fun. Right. But I'm old. I'm not 25.
You have a life experience to realize the sun will come up tomorrow.
You got it.
Right.
And I'm not my 24-year-old kid who's going to be, like.
And then this is ruined. And then this is going to be ruined. And then my future's gone. And I don't know what I'm going to do. And oh my gosh, I invested all this time.
Right.
Right. I've been there.
Of course.
Now I'm 46 years old.
Right.
I've learned.
But why? What did you learn?
Experience is the best teacher. I've learned that, like, hey, look, first of all, you're a person of faith, Dan. You might want to act like it.
Okay.
Secondly, guess what? No one cares. Nobody cares.
Well,
or the people who do care are the only ones the people who are in your life.
Yeah.
The ones that matter are the only ones that you need to care if they care.
Yeah.
And you'll figure if they're angry about it, you'll figure it out.
I do care. We're not celebrating your birthday yet.
You have to celebrate my birthday.
We have to celebrate your birthday. That's what we do here. That's what we do.
Okay.
I don't know how I got caught up in the mess of that one. But anyway, my point being.
Well, you were pretty busy. You went on vacation. You went skiing, dude. Yeah. I mean, you're a fish out of water.
Who is?
You're not a big skier.
Yeah, I am.
Are you?
I ski.
You lived in Park City.
I can ski. ski. You're right. I haven't done it a lot over the years. That's true. That is.
But when you switch environments, your routine's thrown off. All of a sudden, you forget it's what day it is of the week. So that happens.
No, that's called fucking Tuesday for me.
I have friends whose birthdays I don't remember.
Yeah.
And I love these people. I'm like, I know it's like around this time. So I said, hey, happy birthday this month.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate the whole month. That's my thing now.
That's a good one.
Happy October.
Yeah.
Like when Lou Graham was on Facebook, happy birthday to everybody celebrating birthdays. Every day, Lou would post it.
He did? That's awesome. That's very funny. I keep hearing, and I wonder if sometimes if it's bullshit or not. And I'm starting to, because we hear things, and the numbers match it, but I'm not seeing it necessarily. Here's what I'm talking about. Young people don't go out anymore. Young people aren't connecting. And
I've said that too.
Yeah, okay. But when I go out, if I'm at what?
I can hear the song in my head. Do you remember the 21st day of September? Like when you get it's like Good Times Billy.
No.
Pour me another Guinness.
Hang on.
When I go out.
No, what I was going to say is when I go out, like lately, it's been for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I'll notice that if I overstay my time, the crowd changes. And it is younger people. I don't know anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
how can I be in a bar full of people in my bar?
Yeah.
It feels so alone.
But I mean, oh look, Damien opened another place on the West Side.
Mm-hmm.
It's crushing. So I don't. So people are going out. Is it young people? I don't know. What's young?
Yeah,
someone
great question.
Someone in their 30s to me is young. But if we're talking about college age people, I don't know. I'm not in those environments.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bad one to ask. But I do know that the crowd changes at Mulconnery's and it looks much younger. They look younger. You know, it's not like, I don't recognize you without the filter on Instagram that you put on everything. Shit.
Yeah, you don't have dog ears.
I mean, somebody the other day said something to me and they go, Leatherface from Place. And I went, oh my God, because I've never said that. I knew exactly who they were talking about, like instantly. That's all they needed to say. And I went, the place, the face, I got it. And that to me feels like connection.
Mm-hmm.
And busting balls to me feels like connection.
Yes.
Because you got to know shit about me to bust my balls. And I got to know shit about you to bust your balls. And I got to know what's a vulnerable moment for you to bust your balls. You know what I mean? And even that with technology, a friend of mine was showing me, he made fun of, he told everybody how one of the guys was dancing with his daughter on TikTok doing these things. She made a TikTok. He happened to see it. So he tells everybody. So the next time he's in a place, everybody starts dancing like that. So he gets pissed off. Well, the other guy has big earlobes. So he took he made pictures and sent it out to everybody of the earlobes. And I go, okay, that is a connection in a way because you know that somebody is a family guy when we don't see him. And he is he has children and he spends time. And even if he is a guy, he's going to do things with his daughter. What do they call that? I guess girl dad now, whatever that is. But I'm just saying, it's a father being with their kid, meeting their kid where their kid is at. Mm-hmm. I think that's a wonderful thing. But I think on a regular level, people are not connecting the same way we used to.
No, we're not.
And I think it's a lot of it, as you're saying, is fear because I think we coexist, not exactly hang out. I think everyone's available, but I would say not reachable. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
By that, I mean, I can get you, but am I reaching you?
Yeah. Are we connecting on a personal level?
Overexposed, underknown would be one. I'm thinking I was right. I just think that we live these parallel lives. And
it's funny because there's this fear of missing out or FOMO, but at the same time, there's this fear of being real or being yourself. So people want to go out because they don't want to miss something. Like, okay, here's a great example.
Yep.
When our friend's friend Jimmy Fallon comes to town, half of Rochester wants to show up wherever he is.
Yes.
Okay. They don't want to miss it.
Right.
They want to be there.
Yes.
But are all these people pals? Maybe they're in little groups, but are they connecting? In a personal level? Like after Jimmy goes, are they all going to stick around? And so, how's the kids? How's the family? You want to do another round? So what's going on in your world? What are you doing now? No, it's like, all right, we got to follow this dude to the next thing. That is what, but take him out of the equation. That's still the case wherever it is.
Yes. And I think too, that that we have a trust issue. That's why people would turn to tech before they would turn to a human being. I think that you are seeing people that they can't feel connected. Because exactly what you said, and I'll change the word. You said real, and I'll say
authentic.
You got it. Authenticity. Mm-hmm. And I have said, I'm not sure what authenticity means other than being yourself. But the problem is the self I bring to one place may not be the self I present to another place.
Right.
Right.
It could be similar, but it's not the same.
But
like I don't talk the same at work than I do here on the podcast, as I do in church, as I do with my wife,
right?
As I do with my family.
Does that mean you're less authentic somewhere else?
No,
I would say no. I
just know the rooms.
I would agree. So then is that?
I know the audience.
But is that? So then are we saying is that performative? Because I'm the same way. But here's the thing: like there are certain people that I just feel very close to or connected to almost instantly. Some people I like real quick. There are some people and there are people that I have known who have said to me, I've been trying to connect with you, right? Let's use that word. But I've been, touching you a little bit on social media. You never react, never do anything. And the thing I said is, I know, because I have a feeling that with you, I would connect. And the timing's not right now. Was a woman. And in sense, I have connected. But prior to that, one of the reasons I didn't was because I'm like, oh, this. I see who this person is. I don't know why, but I felt it in a weird way. And I think that's the stuff that we get scared. We don't know what to do. It's all of that.
Oh yeah, no, I think there's a flip side to it too.
What's that?
Or I think sometimes people think that they're more connected than they really are to somebody.
Yes.
There were several instances on the show that you and I did, and I was known as Christian Dan.
Yeah.
I got pinged by 3 different women who I'd never had a conversation with in my life to bail them out of trouble on 3 different occasions. And I'm like, why are you calling me? Well, because of your religion. Like, in other words, like they heard me on the radio. They were friends with me on Facebook. We never had a conversation.
What kind of trouble were they?
But they were, I don't even remember. It was like 11, 12 o'clock at night, and they want me to come pick them up at a bar, or can I stay at your house? I'm feeling like something dangerous is going to happen. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I don't know you. And this happened 3 times, and 3 different ladies. And I'm like, listen, I'll pray for you. But I mean, I don't know you well enough I don't know you at all.
Oh, because that's amazing in a way. So, well, trustworthy just on the Christianity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's ballsy. By the way, hang on, let me rephrase
3 times.
Hang on, let me rephrase that. That's a little crazy to me.
Yeah.
Because you're putting yourself in not you, them in what I would say a very risky situation. They don't know you.
No.
Right? I mean, how many people have been Christians or say they're Christian, and we're creeps? Not you, but I'm just saying in general, or whatever religion, call it whatever. You know what? I'm going to dovetail this conversation because we're talking about authenticity and like connecting with people, right? Something happened last week at the Masters. I found it hilarious. It's something that I can relate to, and you will have stories to share about me and experiences you've had with this. But I just wonder if part of the problem is, again, and this wouldn't be one so much that on connection, but we just don't know how to do it. We just don't know how to do it. We'll get to that right after this. Little piano interlude. I was thinking about this. Why is it when I would lose my shit, and I would lose my shit, it's a problem. But when I see an athlete, and when a lot of us see an athlete lose their shit, we're happy with it. They care. That's a real thing. He just cares more, and that I'm like, it just doesn't seem right. And I bring this up because I don't know if anybody saw. I'll just play. I don't know. Did you see this?
I did not see this.
Okay.
No.
Did you see this?
Should have.
No. Now he doesn't say anything in it, but I want you to just listen if you can.
40 yards.
Okay, there he goes. He hit it. That's him smashing his driver on the ground twice after he hits a shot. And the shot, by the way, ended up in a sand trap. And he kind of knew it, like as soon as it took off. But listen, there he goes.
40 yards.
1, 2. And then he just walks. I think he broke the driver. And he goes right into the sand trap.
This was the frustrated Sergio. He hits the ground, and then that driver is done for the day. So not only did he take it out on the tee box, but
I think he another ranking it. I think he got reprimanded too for that.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
You're at Augusta, man.
Yeah. But in a way, I saw it and I went, oh, I get it. You know?
He's acting like every person who's ever played golf.
Well, okay.
We have a friend.
Yeah.
Or had a friend.
Yep. We had a friend.
Well, I mean, like I don't know if you're still cool with this guy, or I haven't talked to him in a long time, who was a sports writer, and he would go off and then report about it on social media about how his golf game was awful and just start cursing the clubs and yelling and screaming. And I also heard from other people who worked in his industry who actually golfed at the same courses, not knowing he was there, and then hearing him from 2 holes away. They go, oh, I didn't know he was here. And yet, lo and behold, it was this dude. I think you have a pretty good idea who I'm talking
exactly
about.
who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm cool with everybody.
Yeah, I know. So I mean, we haven't talked about him. So the point is, covers the bills.
No, we don't need. You don't need to say. But the point is what?
The point is that it's golf. That's
Yes.
what happens.
But let's say that though, in real life, because we shame it in real life, we celebrate it in athletes in a way. Like I will say, I think it's been said on the podcast. I think maybe you have even been alluded, if not said it outright. I wish Josh Allen would be yelling the way Tom Brady did at the players on the sideline.
We yes. Like
I mean, and I get it. I know exactly. All you're saying in that moment is show some more passion, be a bigger leader. That's how we see leaders in that environment. And
it all depends on what moment we're in and what our interest is in it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like, for example, Jameis Winston used to get angry with teammates too, but everybody said, oh, he's all in for himself. Well, why? Well, because he had a consistent record of being 1, reckless, down, and 3, he couldn't win. Yeah. So when people looked at Jameis and said, dude, if you're going to act like that, well, why don't you put up some numbers first? Right. Why don't you act like a better player before you start going off on people? Yeah. You know, like right now, there's a little dissension in the Philadelphia Eagles locker room, and they just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Not more than a year, just more than a year ago.
Right.
Okay. With a certain quarterback named Jalen Hurts. If you're going to walk the walk, you better talk the talk. But in our personal lives, it's not like sports is the toy store for life. So it's like we're invested in it because we all want to be. It is. We all want to win a Super Bowl. When it's our personal lives and you're yelling at people, then people are like, we're in a small environment. Is this guy going to go off? Is he going to hit me? Is he going to throw things? You know, in a professional environment. I think it's 2 different environments, even though they're both professional.
It's completely different environments. That's a very, very good point.
At the end of the day, golf is just golf. At the end of the day, work is like, oh, dude, you don't want a hostile work environment.
You don't. And I think that it's a microcosm. There are great things that you can learn from sports about life and, you know, how important it is to kind of do the nitty gritty. Like I'll try to compare to my kid saying to me that he didn't like the job he had and he wants to go and record his music at this studio. And I go, you got to think of it like working out, right? The athlete may not want to work out
reps,
but he's got to work out to get to play on the field.
Blake Griffin once said, who you see everywhere now for some reason.
Yeah.
Played in the NBA.
Yeah.
He goes, you got to fall in love with the process of becoming great.
Yeah. And it is a process. And I think that those are the things, because I've been that guy that really lost their shit in things that go sideways. And it's embarrassing, but I get it. There's a lot of pressure at times. And I don't know. I think in athletes, we do kind of love it to a point. Tell you where we don't love it. Who was it? AB. Wasn't it Antonio?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Who just took off his uniform and walked off the walked off
I'll never
the field?
forget, because we're watching the Bills, and all of a sudden, we got to go live to the Meadowlands here where Antonio Brown has completely lost it. It wasn't even a highlight.
No, Antonio Brown just fucking walked off the field.
He took off his pads.
Yeah. Wasn't that with Tampa?
Yeah, it was with Tampa. It was he was playing the Jets.
Yeah. He just took off. He just walked out.
And the Jets are like, for once, it's not us.
Yeah. And so my thing is, we don't actually hate anger. I can tell you one where very similar to that just happened. When I went skiing with my son, who had only learned to ski this past winter and had skied 3 times. And then I'm taking him to a mountain at the end of the season where the snow was mashed potato-y, was how I would describe it. You would stick, and sometimes you grab your skis.
Yeah.
It was warmer and it's melting.
And lumps.
So
it's not a Heinz commercial.
I hadn't bought him skis because I don't know if he's going to stick with the sport or not. Right? He enjoyed it, but even when I was trying to push him, let's go again on a weekend that we were around, he wanted to do something else, and it happened to be very warm here. So I get it. So I rent him skis, and we get up on the mountain, and he falls a few times. And I don't know that this was a part of it, but my nephew, who's 8, is on an elite race team, and he can ski backwards. So Dylan is skiing backwards and trying to help my son, and my son's being cool. And then, but something keeps, his boot would pop out and then couldn't get back in the binding, and pop out and couldn't get back in the binding. And he was getting frustrated. My brother was being really patient. My brother said, I think there's something wrong with these bindings. I said, okay, well, we'll go down and, whatever. No, let me just keep going. Let me just keep going. And then fell one more time and got up, did not throw anything. Just left the skis, left the pole, continued to walk, goggles, helmet, just lets him drop. So I'm picking up one thing, my brother's picking up another. We all ski past him because he's got a quarter of the mountain now down to walk down. And it was kind of this thing. And this one guy who was a friend of my brother's just laughed. He goes, this is so funny. He goes, it's just so funny. And I go, it's not. I'm embarrassed, right? But there wasn't no language, no anything. Just complete frustration with falling. I take him down, get new skis, I couldn't keep up with the kid. So it was clearly the binding, right? Mm-hmm. But I needed to kind of talk him into that stuff. And so I always think, we don't hate anger. We hate when it's messy, inconvenient, and embarrasses us. Right? Yeah. Or if it's somebody who reflects upon us. Right. Like my kid will reflect upon me, or I would reflect upon my parents. I know I did really. I'm so competitive and pissed off. And, I remember even a basketball game and yelling on the sideline. It was stupid. And it was a basketball game with adults. And I'm at my dad's school and I'm fucking losing my mind.
I remember a story about a local pitcher who made it to the big leagues, and he's pitching locally, and there's all these scouts showing up, and he has a bad first inning. Takes his hat, takes his gloves, throws it, takes his cleats, throws them, and one of the parents, smart aleck parents, whose other kid is also there, looks at the scouts and say, hey, how you gonna deal with that, huh? How you gonna deal with that? My kid doesn't do that. He goes, yeah, your kid doesn't throw 96 either.
Yeah.
In other words, we can put up with that. We can fix that part.
Well, that's the thing is I think that one of the things take Sergio, slam, right? Mm-hmm. And then you kind of shut down emotionally after that. You don't even want to talk about it. I can even say I did the exact same thing when I got a speeding ticket recently. I wasn't rude to the officer other than I tried to peel out to make a statement, but I couldn't peel out because I didn't have the right car for that. But I didn't. I punched it. I watched in the side of the mirror, and I wasn't. There was no way of injuring this guy, but I was being such a child and so angry that when he hit the back bumper, I hit the thing and tried to spin some dirt, which may have hurt him, right? I mean, and my point wasn't. It wasn't even him. He's doing his job.
Yeah.
I was pissed off, but I don't know sometimes what to do with that emotion. And that's the same thing I would say with Sergio. You don't know what to do with that. That's somebody who doesn't know how to channel the anger. When we see other guys who, like, they just stay calm and sure, they're frustrated or whatever. Maybe you can read their lips on the sideline or what, right? But other than that, there's no big emotional display. There's no slamming of a helmet. And then somehow they come back and man, they just shove it right up your ass. Michael Jordan's a great example.
Oh yeah,
he didn't, and then he did.
He was a great example. Oh yeah, he would get mad. I mean,
yes.
He punched out teammates.
Right.
But his whole thing, Kobe Bryant's whole thing was, okay, I'm going to show you tomorrow. There's always tomorrow, and I'm going to show you tomorrow. I'm going to take all this anger out, working out after the game,
right?
Or tomorrow morning when I get up in the gym, or he would go to town on the guy.
Right. I mean, look, how many times have we lost it? And I always say this.
And I took that personally.
It's displaced anger because the remote doesn't work.
Yeah.
Where does the remote
Somebody kept effing with the phone.
Sometimes,
and I took that personally.
God. Yes. Sir, stop fucking with the phones. Danny and I worked together. We were brand new to that company.
You had been there a while. I was just filling in, answering the phones that day.
No. Okay.
So you didn't even know me that well.
No. But here's what I know. We, at that time, there was a dynamic shift in a local radio market. And a guy who's in the National Radio Hall of Fame, Brother Weeze, had not come to terms on a contract with a new company that bought the radio station. So he was leaving. And this was going to be a seismic shift in the market because he had such a loyal following of people. And was beloved, absolutely beloved, did great numbers. And it was me, who I had been at that point part of his show and producing his show. And it was me and his comic on the show, Tommy, were the ones. And then everybody else, Sally was there, all these people. Well, I don't think Sally was there that day.
No, it was you, Big Mark.
Yeah.
Phil Sherman was running the board,
right?
And I was in what we called now the broke room, answering phones.
So Sally may have not even been part of the show anymore.
She was. Sally was on vacation. Tommy was in Buenos Aires, and and Rich was on vacation too.
Okay, so there's nobody really around, and all I know is that everybody's on vacation. They wouldn't let the rest of us have vacation. Usually, when a show of that size goes off, everybody goes together on vacation together. Yeah. So I was feeling a lot of pressure.
You were interviewing Fidel Castro's brother.
Yes.
And it was a great interview.
Yeah.
And the phone.
No, it wasn't. It was somebody who
he went to high school.
Cuba.
Fidel Castro's brother took over. I'm sorry.
No.
He was a guy who went to high school with Castro.
Local guy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Older man. And the phone kept dropping.
And I'm back there like with my hands up going, bro, it wasn't me.
So, and these things happen, right? But I wasn't handling it well. And all I can tell you is at that time, and there are people who want to create projects about all this stuff. I get approached on serious about like what that was like. And can we do the story and make a show out of this? And I haven't really sat down and thought about it. But at that time, I had a child who I was told was on the autism spectrum, Asperger's, mild, highly functioning, doing very well in life today. But
inventing stuff.
But we're right. But we're talking years and years later, right? So I have him. I need health insurance. You would walk around this building that the news station studio was in. And you saw like they had a guy who they were moving over to do afternoons from one of their stations to be now on our station. And they had a big giant pad and they did a character breakout of this guy and they left it in a very public spot so you could see it. So the plan, I could tell, like, I'm not an idiot. I go, they want that guy to be the morning guy. And I go, I got to keep this fucking job. And I knew that I was a producer, but I was making at that time
a lot more than they would pay a producer.
Well, probably somewhere between 60 and 75,000 at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And they were paying producers 25 grand. That was it. That's at what every producer got. I think. Am I wrong on that?
It was like 24.5.
Okay. All right.
Because I know. I lived it.
So I had all kinds of things in there. Like they were paying my phone, and on top of that, and they were doing something else.
You had a laptop too. You're supposed to have everything you needed to do the show.
You got it. I had everything. So, and the reason I got all that was there was a station in North Carolina that had tried to hire me, and these guys didn't want me to leave. So we came to that conclusion, and so that had already doubled my radio salary. By the time I left, if I said the number, people go, "Really? Local radio?" And I go, "Yeah, I did. That's where I was at." But whatever. So there's a lot of pressure, right? I'm the only one really working in my family at the time. I want this to go well. I don't know where else I'm going to go. The other thing was like, I was looking to leave. There was a job in San Diego, and then the guy I was going to go do it with drops out and says, I can't do it. He was in Dallas. His wife was a teacher. We were going to partner up. Fine. So I didn't know what was going to happen. And you're just shitting a brick. And the pressure came, and I was mad. And I was always mad there. I was always mad. And I'll tell you, when I look back now, it was all fear-based. It was fear-based. And it's somebody who didn't know what to do with their anger, who would just fucking lash out and just kind of tell people how stupid they were because he was afraid of losing his job or them not trusting enough for me to do it. I'm talking like in third person, but for me to do it.
Oh, yeah.
And eventually, if it wasn't for JT, he was a boss, it all worked out fine. It did. And that's where I go, but you burned a lot of calories and bridges, by the way, that, it shouldn't have been done.
Right. And it was all displaced or misplaced anger.
It was misplaced anger.
Most anger is misplaced anger.
Of course it is.
Like Sergio could have other things going on in his life right now, and it all culminated on this tee box.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. Like, even when you would see, I don't know, maybe you saw your dad like launch the remote because it's not working, or fuck it. My
father never like got violent or anything or threw things or any of that stuff. He would just yell. That was his way of getting it out. Yell. And he was a steel worker. Like people died doing his actual job. Died. And I'm not just talking about like, boom, you're dead, explosion. No, this is like painful, burning to death type of deaths.
Right.
Okay. He was a pickler in a steel plant.
Yeah.
And so he had that stress of leading his crew every day, 8 hours a day for 33 years. And it was like, he called it working in hell. And he'd come home, and if things weren't just right, he would start yelling at everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
And then eventually he cooled off as he got older and realized, all right, come on.
Well, also your testosterone drops a little bit.
Yeah.
And I was trigger happy at some of these things. But you're right. I mean, I think there's that, because anger is usually a secondary emotion. I mean, we've sort of touched on that. A lot of my stuff underneath was fear of losing a job, fear of not knowing again, right? We go back to the uncertainty of things and all that, and feeling like people weren't believing in my ability to do this. And people weren't. You didn't have a history. You had a history of playing records and pulling good ratings, talking between records, but this was a talk show. How do we know what this guy's going to do?
Right.
I mean, I remember the first time I talked for 10 minutes straight on the radio. I think I called my mom and I go, hey, I just talked for 10 minutes straight because you weren't allowed to.
No.
It was like 90 seconds or whatever. So, it's there. And I even look at Sergio during the thing. That's not frustration with that. That's frustration over everything that shot meant to him, right? Getting back in the tournament. I think it might have ended his day.
Yeah.
Just
the cut.
I get it. Right. And so I don't know. I mean, I'll ask you, have you ever held it in versus let it out? Anger?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah. Which is worse?
Yeah.
Which is worse?
Oh, it's all holding it in is a lot worse.
So,
because then all of a sudden when you finally do let it out, oh, look at this douchebag. I remember one time I actually got legitimately angry about something, and it was righteous indignation. And a neighbor friend and my wife said, wow, we finally seen the dark side of Dan. And I go, And that's why I hold it in, because people like you will say something stupid like that. And they all froze. I go, I get angry just like you get angry.
Yeah. I understand.
But I tell people, I go, but I'm the only one who's not allowed to be angry.
Yeah.
And they're like,
well,
look, you could be angry. I go, you just told me I couldn't be angry. You just told me.
No.
I just saw the dark side of Dan Borello.
Hang on, though.
Right?
Hang on.
This is like 5 years ago.
No, I get it. But I think that there's a disconnect in that communication, at least the way I'm hearing it. I think that unexpressed emotion finds a way out. But the longer you carry it around, the heavier it gets.
Oh, yeah.
And the more impact it takes on.
Yeah, it's like a tea kettle.
You're right. But I mean, honestly, I would take it to, people call it your baggage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think your baggage gets heavier if you don't deal with it. And it becomes, and now there's more triggers to set it off.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's like the real thing is so buried in this bag. We got to go through, sedimentary rock to fucking find it.
Yeah.
Because it's been in there. And I mean, honestly,
look, there's the Stegosaurus.
Yeah. And right. Every meltdown is just delayed honesty.
Yes.
It's just delayed honesty with stuff. And
now, now getting angry during Bills games is another thing completely. It's comical anger. It's funny anger. We all understand. That's just part of the game, right? Like, why'd you punt there on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1?
Right.
You don't have to punt there. You're on the plus side of the field. That's not real anger. That's just like, yelling at a game, coaching along. I'm talking about like legitimate, anger. And yeah, it happens. And you're allowed to. It was Bill Moran who once said, Danny, you're allowed to get angry.
You are. You're allowed to get angry. But what I don't think you're allowed to do is yell the fucking phones. Who's fucking with the phones? Because that's
no, your exact words were stop effing with the phones.
I said effing.
You said you did not say the F word because you were on the air.
Yeah. I went out in the hallway.
You went out in the hall. Stop effing with the phones.
I lit.
This shows. We had an interview that's actually interesting. It's so much better than anything else you got in the other stupid stations.
I did say all that. I did. Like at the top of my lungs.
Yes. You made sure they heard it on the second, maybe the 3rd floor.
Bellowed this. And that, I mean, here's the thing, to your point. Anger's not the enemy. Not understanding how to deal with it is the enemy.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the things that people talk about. How do I heal? How do I do this stuff? How do I do that? How do I break these patterns? How do I feel? Everything is really, to me, comes back to, and you said it, fear-based stuff, whatever it is, what the trigger is. I have seen so many times in my life over the years that there was like a pattern with women that it wouldn't matter who it was or what they were doing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it could be anybody. It could be anybody. And so that's interesting.
Yeah, it happens and it manifests in different ways, in different patterns.
Yes.
But once you recognize the pattern, okay, now how do we fix it?
Well, how do we stop it?
Right. Tony Robbins says, I give myself 3 minutes to figure it out. 180 seconds, he says.
To figure out what?
In other words, if I'm angry, I got to change my state at any moment. Right. I cannot let the anger direct me. I need to direct the anger.
It's a secondary emotion. Why am I angry about it?
I give myself 3 minutes to figure out how I'm going to solve this issue or that I'm going to solve this issue. And then I need to move on. And it's hard. Yeah. You got to train yourself to do it.
Oh, my mother.
But it's about changing your state at a given moment. My mother
was just calling me and I got nervous and I almost put her on the air, but I knew she didn't, and she's not feeling well. And then I'm waiting. Anytime I get a call now, I'll think, who died?
Who died? Me too.
And so
me too.
I'm thinking, and then she just says, butt dial. And I'm like, okay.
Like if my stepfather calls me, I'm like, is his mom okay? Oh yeah, I just wanted. Yeah, she's in the car right now. We're just. Okay. All right, good.
I will tell you, like, just we'll wrap it up here. And I guess this whole show is going to be about like more emotions and things and how we're living. I didn't mean for it to be that way, but
we don't have to wrap it up here. We could do another segment.
No, one more segment. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying wrap up this segment, but what I'm saying is, I think like when you talk about healing and stuff, that these courses that I'm in and learning to just kind of to sit and observe your emotions, which is what meditation and stuff is supposed to really do. Way easier said than done, but to really just sit with it and feel it and really feel it and then let it go. I mean, I think, and I'm going to give this podcast to plug. It's one we produce here, the Two Fit Chicks.
Billified. Oh,
the Two Fit Chicks podcast. They had somebody in from the Isaiah House who is, if you're really in need of hospice care and you really can't afford it, you can get this. It's completely free, but they only have availability for like 2 people, but it's end of life care. And this woman sat there and she said, you know, one of the things that I realized, and I think she had been married and then maybe ended up in another relationship. And she goes, I was in the shower one day, which is not what you want to say in front of me, but
that's what people think.
No, I know. I was
same thing with driving.
Trying to make a perverted joke.
I know.
Lovely lady, but she just said, I was in the shower one day and I started to think about, you know, I had just had a breakup and this, and it was kind of weighing on me and stuff, and that you just have to learn to let go, because when you get to the end of your life, you're letting go of everything. And when she meant that, she meant like your ability to walk at times, depending on where you are, your ability to, like, my dad couldn't shower himself. Like I remember feeling, I thought of this today. I remember feeling so bad watching him go to this cafeteria and sort of sit by himself in a nice dining room and all, but it's not even like you made your own meal. You know what I mean? Everything felt sort of institutional in a way. And it made me sad to see that and to even think that. But, and then we had to help him get out of a shower. And then we signed him up to have somebody come in and clean him. And I just remember the phone call. Tell you what, Willie.
I remember this.
You remember this? Tell you what, Willie. I mean, this woman came in, she left no stone unturned.
She cleaned everything.
It's like, oh,
when I say everything.
I was like, right. And that's not a guy who in any way, shape, or form was very, very modest in his. He didn't even like being barefoot. He didn't want to, you know. So he wasn't one to be like, I was dropping my pants and mooning everybody. I don't know that he did.
Well, your father reminds me in his dress, his demeanor, like Jordan Peterson. Like Jordan Peterson. If you ever see Jordan Peterson, he's been sick for a couple of years now. You don't see him anymore, but he's always in a 3-piece suit.
Yeah.
And your father reminds me of a guy who dresses up for everything.
He did. And he did. He would dress up to get the mail if he had to. And so you're right. But at the end, one of the things when I look back is I'm like, oh, he went with that willingly. He let go. And I don't know what that's like. And so to learn to sit with your emotions and just let it pass and let go, maybe the greatest thing you can do for yourself, because in the end, you're fucking letting it all go, man. It all's just going to go. And that's it. So what are you going to do? You're going to hold on to it?
Start letting it go now.
Start letting it go now, because it's easier to do.
Yes.
Right. Let go. Even if it's a relationship that doesn't work for you, let it go. Let
go and let God.
Yes. And I don't mean like a romantic. If it's a friendship thing that just has kind of, there's a time and a place for all things. If it is a romantic relationship and you just can't see where it's going to go or whatever, be honest, have that conversation and let it go. And if you're building something, give it time. Don't rush it. Let's just let go and let it be. Let it be, as the Beatles say. Let it be. All right, we'll take a moment. We'll get into. I want to talk about happiness. I know it's weird.
Sounds like we've been talking about it all show.
I know. Somehow this all came together, and it wasn't intentional. Or maybe it was. Maybe I don't know. I don't know where my head was. I wasn't planning to record today, and then just circumstances were of such that I wanted to get one, and I wanted to with you, and as this will drop as people head into a weekend. Yeah, I mean, who knows when people will listen, right? But that's when we'll drop it. And as you go into the weekend, I do think, think about your anger, and right, and what you do with it. Think about your connection to people and how deep that is. And then when we talk about happiness, people are trying to be happy. What does that mean, and how do you do it? Let's talk about it.
All right.
We'll do it next.
What first?
I don't know. There's so many thoughts in my head these days.
Tell me about it.
I know.
Some aren't even mine.
Yeah.
What do you think I'm on the medication, Bill? They show up like Amazon packages that I didn't order.
Yeah. What?
No, like your thoughts.
Oh, your thoughts.
Yeah.
Show up like that. I'm sorry. I was also getting everything here at Mission Control just comes in at once. I got to find out how to keep my text messages off some of the other equipment because
that's why I just don't add them. I don't add my phone to anything else but my phone.
I don't even know what I did. I don't even know.
Well, sir,
speaking of that,
we at the Apple Store can connect everything.
No,
sure.
that's fine, and I think that's great in a certain degree, but not always. I'll ask you, and maybe you'll have an answer for this,
probably
that other people may not. But when was the last time you were just sitting there, doing nothing, just sitting, quiet, and you didn't immediately reach for your phone, like I don't know, like it was life support or something? Can you think of that?
A couple weeks ago. I actually legitimately just trained myself to don't touch the phone. Just leave it alone.
Yes. And I the reason I say that is I think, and I did not mean for this entire podcast to turn into like this weird therapy thing. I didn't mean it to. But you're somebody you can talk to about this stuff. And I think that it's something that people need to explore more of. I really do. We've never had more ways to feel good, and yet we feel worse. We've never had more ways to be connected, and yet we're lonely. We've never had more ways to understand more ways for us to figure out what's underneath the anger, and yet we don't. Mm-hmm. And I think that it's really like something that I don't know why it sits heavy with me because I just think that people talk about happiness as though it's elusive, and I'm not sure that it is.
Happiness is a choice, Billy.
Yep.
I know it's hard to believe.
No, I think that's true.
You have to choose happiness. You have to it's not going to find you.
No.
You got to find it.
Well, I believe that everything's, a frequency in a certain way. And I think that
like 96.5.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And I think that
6-pack of classic rock. Got some ZZ Top for you.
I got to tell you,
CMF.
Radio's so dumb. Somebody was just telling me the other day.
Got a 12-pack of 6-packs waiting for you.
About Bubba the Love Sponge.
Bubba the Love Sponge radio program.
Yeah, but that guy.
Hulk Hogan died.
He got fucked.
Again?
Well, he's not on radio.
He's persona non grata.
He's on some. He's like. I guess he's on an AM station somewhere in a couple different spots of the country, but he's mostly internet and people are saying, but the show is really good. But he's just,
There's a couple people who listen to our podcast who listen to Bubba.
They do.
Or at least they used to.
Yeah. I've met Bubba once. I liked him. I know he comes on in that speech pattern that can be sort of jarring at first, but he's a thoughtful guy and had some real stuff.
He's a sharp businessman.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the things he did for sure. He made a lot on the merchandise stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think all these lawsuits and stuff have really, really drained that guy. I don't know why
marriages too.
We were talking about radio. And, and then somebody that I didn't know has recently gotten let go. And this person had gone to high school with them. And they said, yeah, no. And I'm like, yeah, the industry got too big, and it's things like this. People want to hear real stuff.
Yeah,
they do. They want to hear real, relatable stuff.
Can I be honest with you? Like, you and I both have Sirius XM.
Yeah,
I've had Sirius XM. My uncle got it for me in 2004. He goes, "Hey Dan, I got this Sirius XM. I don't use it. Do you want it?" I'm like, "You're a radio guy." I'm like, "Yeah." So I've had it, and then when I started paying for it myself around 2009, it was the one luxury I allowed myself. And the one thing that I hate about it, and I think this is the same for local radio, is that you don't hear DJs talking to people between songs anymore, like throwing a topic out, like, anybody else get hemorrhoids for the first time? And what's it like? And then people would call up and whatever the topic was, but it was all relatable.
It was connection.
Yeah, here's Poison.
It was connection.
Sirius XM. You don't get that anymore. You can't call a radio station and get on and talk.
Right. And even with some podcasts, you can't. We have a number, but I haven't.
Like, I missed the interaction. I love, like, last night Saturday night, my wife and I are driving home, and on Sirius XM at 8:00, they start experimenting with other shows. They'll start playing other things that you normally wouldn't hear during the week. And I go, yeah, because it's Saturday night, and they experiment. And you could hear people calling in and talking. It's like, yes, real radio, fun.
Yeah, right. Let me go, since you're bringing that up. I want to try something.
Should we call people?
No.
Hey, we're on the radio. We miss you.
No, I'm trying to find this. I just want to see something real quick. Let's see if I can go. Bam. Are you blinded now?
That's okay. I'll be all right. We got 1 second.
Let's see. I have the corporate phone app, and I know there's messages in there. It'll probably be our friend Vinny. But I get I get it all the time. Here we go. Let's see. Yeah. All right, here we go. This is the calls you can make here.
What's up there, fucking Fiero speeder?
What? Next
thing you know, you'll be disc jockeying fucking late at night and offending some girls. Yeah, I've got a little bit of buzz going on, brother. You go ahead and run down the highway, bro. Sitting here watching the Masters, getting the splasters. Yeah, you know what I meant.
Okay. All right, there's that one.
There's one guy who would not be allowed into Augusta.
Hey, motherfucker, I think you might be getting Saturday night at a little after 10. What the fuck you doing? Me and Kim got a little competition brewing here. When you going to fucking pick up? You going to pick up for your little skating buddy? Or, yeah, you don't have to pick up for me. It's cool, man. Me and Kim will be fucking with your phone. Blowing it up, man.
Right.
This is why Saturday nights are so experimented with in radio, because of guys like this.
Yeah. Anyway, that there's other ones. I can read them. They're just different things. But I think that, like, that connection's gone. And I think that also leads to happiness for people.
Yes.
And and there was something where you felt like, here's the other thing. This is what I learned from radio. And I was just talking to somebody the other day, and they're kind of like, well, there's transferable skills. Like, I didn't, my way into this was very circumventional, but it was very odd how this
you got
happened.
A sponsorship exemption, like they say in the Masters.
Basically. And
the amateur of the year is Bill Moran.
But there's transferable skills in that listening.
Yes.
And then reflecting back or whatever.
Well, think about all the problems we tried to solve for people over the years. They would call us and tell us their problems. Yes. And Tommy and you would try to, bro, you got to pump, bro. Yeah. Or we'd have some guy named Coach Muley, who we remember who coached the Tampa Bay Bandits, solve their problems.
That was my favorite. When Tommy left, it was
Buddy Nix was the general manager of the Bills.
GM, and Buddy Nix has a storied professional football career.
He was a football lifer.
Yes, he was a football lifer, and deep from the South. And Tommy would play.
He was the guy who discovered Terrell Owens,
Coach Muley. And I said to Tommy, "You got to call because we're having Buddy Nix on." So Tommy leaves the tent, goes sits in the stands, and calls. And then and right away he's going, "Hey, I coach at the Alabama Tuscaloosa sort of something or other, right?" And he's like, yeah, I remember you. This is Buddy Nix going, I remember you. And Tommy starts taking it pretty misogynistic. He starts going on about, these women, they want to be out there and blah, 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 blah. And Buddy, you hear what I'm saying? Yeah. Whoa. And so, like, I think we offended Buddy.
Yeah.
Or he got uncomfortable.
The weird thing is the PR guy, who's usually a stick in the mud, actually thought it was pretty funny.
It was funny
because he was trying to build up Buddy's image as a fun guy.
Yes,
instead of being like an old Southern stick in the mud.
Yeah,
but
it was whatever. Yeah. But I think we're not unhappy. I think we're overstimulated. You get bored, you reach for your phone. Right? You get stressed, you do some doom scrolling.
I once counted during a Thursday night football game the number of times I reached for my phone while watching the game. I said, okay, I'm not gonna grab my phone. And every time I grab the phone, I'm gonna mark. I grab my phone in the second half, because in the first half I was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, it's halftime. You get out of your routine, you get back, and you forget you're doing. Oh yeah, I grabbed my phone 36 times in the third quarter. 36 times. That's like twice a football minute.
Right.
2.5 times a football minute. It's really why? Because it's nothing to do with the game. I mean, like Twitter and X and stuff. But I mean, do I have to do that?
No.
Am I going to miss something on X that I didn't see during the game?
No. I miss so much stuff. But like back in the day, you had to sit with your thoughts.
Yes.
You know, and I know that sounds weird, but now, I mean, you can outrun your brain all day long. And I was great at that. And I did it. My thing was, I would distract myself from things that were bothering me by pushing them to the side and just going and doing stupid shit, having a blast, over drinking, hanging out with people, hooking up with people, doing whatever. And you start to realize that, I don't know. You start to realize that it doesn't work. It's not real. It's not there. I remember once, as we were talking about this, and then I want to bring up something else because I think you have an interesting look at it. I was a young man, younger guy for sure. And I have always found women irresistible in a way. Certain women, there's something, I don't know what it was. And I remember, I was running some department because I wasn't on the radio every day. I was like I was like 23 years old. And this college intern comes in. And I remember the thought. I'm sitting in an office. I look up, she's at the copier, and I'm like, God damn, that's a woman. I don't know why that thought ran through my head. And there was a mutual attraction there.
Hi, baby.
And I really, really liked her. And she is somebody that I see her brother quite often these days. And, but I just never pulled the trigger on it because I was already involved with somebody. And that's why, like, I don't know what it is, man. There's certain women, I can see it, I can sense it, and then I'll stay away until my path is clear. And when my path's clear, if the person's still available, great. But this was one of those situations, and my path was not exactly clear. And it came down to kind of a choice of stuff, and I made a different choice. And I remember her telling me that she was so mad at me, and she sat down, and I never knew anybody who'd do this, and wrote a letter.
The Lincoln letter.
Or just wrote a letter. Yeah. But the greatest thing was that was somebody who knew how to handle their anger.
Yeah.
At a young age. Like all this emotion, all this confliction. Why all this attention and then nothing? Why all this blah, blah, blah? And then, right. Like that's, kind of what was happening. And I go, man, what a way to handle that. What a mature way to handle that. Instead of me who would just fucking get drunk, call you up, light you up, tell you what a bitch you were. And then, basically the imagery in my head was always throwing everything in the dumpster, pouring some kerosene on it, walking away, lighting a match, and throwing it over my thing and that was it. And I go, that's such a childish way to handle anything. You know what I mean? And now I think we don't know how to handle anything. We don't know how to connect. Dopamine on demand is what we have.
Right. Our brains are flooded with dopamine. You can only get so much of it. And then when you can't get it anymore, now all of a sudden you're getting depressed. Why? Because it's like dopamine's a lot like heroin. Just stay with me on this one.
Sure.
You're always chasing that dragon and you're never going to get it. So you have to just sit in your thoughts and let life be regular once in a while or for a long while. And then your heights will become that much happier again.
Right. Well, you brought up something earlier where you said the microwave, what was it, microwave culture?
Yeah. It used to be called microwave. That's on-demand culture, but it started with the microwave.
Right. But you don't have to wait for anything anymore.
No.
You don't have to wait for anything anymore. You can do sports betting 24/7.
Yeah.
Right from your bed.
You used to have to get on a plane to bet on games.
Now you can get,
unless you know juice.
You can get food delivery, endless content. There's dating apps. There's dating apps for all kinds of stuff. There's just casual hookups. There's this, there's that. And I'll ask the question, are we happier than we were 10 to 15 years ago? I'm starting to think we're not. And we've confused pleasure with happiness.
Right.
That's what
That's such a great point.
I think we've confused pleasure.
Pleasure only lasts
a
moment. Happiness is an attitude. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of life. Joy. Joy. The word should be, instead of happiness, joy.
Yeah.
Joy.
I think
like my wife yesterday, she's like, "You're singing. What are you singing? I know you want to get going." I'm like, "No, I'm just enjoying. I'm just enjoying sitting here with you. When you're done, you're done. I'm just having a good time with myself." She goes, "Is that what you do? Just make up just random songs?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "It makes cleaning easier."
Whenever I hear the little kids singing, I go, "That's a happy kid."
Yeah,
that's a happy kid. I agree.
Like I'll be sweeping the floors and making up stupid songs about just in general. Like, why?
Right. Well, pleasure is a quick hit.
Mm-hmm.
Happiness is deeper.
Yeah.
And it's earned. And it's something that I think that we just don't know how to get. It's slower. It doesn't come right away. It's slower. You know what's think about this. You get to your goal weight, or you fit into the outfit you wanted for the wedding, or you've been working out and dieting and somebody gives you a compliment. It's happiness, it's gratification. We could also say it's pleasure because it's brief, but it also, to me, it lasts longer because you did it. You did it. It's why I used to like to build shit with my hands. You did it. There's a great satisfaction in there. We don't do that anymore because everything's an on-demand dopamine hit,
yeah,
right? Or it's pleasure, and we've confused pleasure for happiness, and that to me is like that's it right there. We don't relax, we distract, right? We don't
multitask. We switch tasks,
right? Exactly. Or we don't process something, we scroll.
Yep.
We'll just scroll through, or we'll look for the guru on TikTok or whatever platform and to find us to sit there. And I don't know. You could try the 10-minute test. I mean, I sort of do it every day.
What's that?
Where you sit, I just sit and try to meditate or just clear my mind. But just sit there. No TV, no phone, no noise, no anything.
Oh,
Sit in a room for 10 minutes. Just sit there.
I try to do that with with my breathing exercises.
Yeah.
I'll do 20 minutes of 5 minutes of humming, 5 minutes of alternate nostril breathing, which is good for you.
Yeah.
5 minutes of box breathing.
That is. Yep.
I mean, it's very, very helpful. And then they say, if you can master before bed, taking 5 breaths a minute for about a half hour, you'll sleep better. 6 seconds in, 6 seconds out.
So in this episode, we've talked about loneliness and we're around more people. We've talked about anger and we don't process emotions. And then we talk about this with happiness, but we don't sit still long enough for anyone to understand anything.
Right.
That especially ourselves. And I go, you don't need more content, more apps. You don't need more noise in your life.
You need less.
You might just need a minute.
Yeah.
You just might need a minute.
So,
and that's where I think that we're not living.
One of my favorite talk show hosts that I've loved since the first time I've heard him is a sports guy named Colin Cowherd. Now, he sounds like a little bit of a puker. Okay. Because he can get very, anime laughs at his own jokes sometimes. But, I think Joe Brady's going to bring the Bills to a Super Bowl. Now, he's flip-flopped on this, but my point is this. He's very well-read, very well-studied.
Yeah.
Every topic he has a real-life application.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of analogies. And he goes, they did a study of all the studies. A study of all the studies. What makes people so sad? What's everybody's problem? Why are people sick all the time? What's going on? It all comes down to one thing. We've talked about it several times on this show. Loneliness.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are not meant to be a lone wolf. And by the way, that's called real human contact. That's not even talking on the phone.
No.
It's going into an office.
Right.
It's working with people. It's going outside. It's talking to people.
Yeah.
It's meeting with people.
And it's more than just
it's a connection.
Yeah, saying, "Hey, did you see this meme?"
Yeah.
It's talk. It's getting to know somebody.
Malcolm Gladwell wrote in, not the tipping point, what was Outliers. There was a group of immigrants from Italy that came to New Jersey. Wow, where else, right? Okay.
Jersey.
And these people all lived in their 90s and 100s in this little community. So they did a study. Well, was it the environment? No, it was toxic. It was New Jersey. It was a dump. Well, what was it? The food? Was it the olive oil? No, they adopted an American diet. You know what they all did? They all got together and talked to each other every single day. They were all genuinely curious and interested in each other's lives and had meaningful conversations. And by the way, in Europe, they still do that. It's not about drinking wine. I mean, I'm sure the food has something to do with it, but it's not about blue zones. It's about connection, real human interaction. which you could do with us coming up.
No, I'm serious. That's really true. That is exactly the thing that I even noticed within my own parents as to who's still alive and who's not. That there was a loneliness factor there, and that we are wired for that. But what my point with that is, we're more connected than we've ever been, and yet people still feel lonely. And why is that? Because we haven't truly connected. And I think vulnerability is a hard thing for a lot of people. I think that I don't want to be judged. I don't want to this. I don't want to that. And once you kind of realize every human being is a human being, and you can kind of accept that, that's where the real authenticity is. That's where you start to figure out who you are. You know, I was going to ask you too, because sometimes this comes up, and I would say, you know, what is a man? What is a man? What does it mean to be a man? Because you had said, you know, those were little boys earlier. What does it mean to be a man? Well, I think what it means to be a man is to be very grounded and not knee-jerky and not emotionally reactive, and someone who understands themselves very well and can say things like, I need a minute or whatever, and just be comfortable in their own skin as to who they are. I don't think a man has to be loud and yelling and punching people out and knocking somebody out.
No, that's a show.
Yeah, right. But I mean, that's what we always had as a man.
Yeah, insecurity is the mother of all douchebaggery.
Right. I mean,
that's not a man.
Guy that I think is, as I've gotten older, as I've enjoyed his music a lot, was Frank Sinatra. And I remember hearing somebody go, he was so angry all the time.
Yeah, he's miserable.
Fear. Right? Fear. Out of
insecure. Like he would, like toward the end of his career,
stuff in a fire. Oh, Jay Leno was talking about it. He was over there with the Rat Pack at the house, and he's like, all of a sudden, he's throwing shit at the fire, and you know, and that's a real unhappiness. Why? Because you've got so much pressure and shit coming on, you don't know which way it's going to go. You got that tax issue he had and all that stuff.
He toward the end of his career, he was starting to forget words and stuff, and he's yelling at the band.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's Frank. It was you.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's always been Frank.
What are you going to do?
You know.
I just think that once you figure that stuff out, that just makes you a great human being, no matter how you identify.
Right.
You'll be able to handle anything. And it's not easy.
Manage your expectations. Find your purpose.
There you go.
Ground yourself.
Yeah. And it's all the shit that a lot of people say. Yep, that can help. That certainly.
I mean, you want to get an example? Like I've gone to church. I've been back in church the last 3 years. Every Sunday I go, man, everyone is joyfully happy to see each other.
Yeah.
And no one's in a hurry to leave.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah.
You went to church recently.
I had a project I need to do to understand a culture that I'm not part of.
And how was everybody, you know?
So I had Mercedes Vasquez Simmons on here, who is Latino. And I said to her, I have this project. I need to do some stuff. And she said, join me at church down in the city. So I went down to Clifford Avenue, and the entire mass was in Spanish, and the church was absolutely spectacularly gorgeous. There was a lot of young families there, and the music had bongos and stuff, bongos and horns in a Catholic church. Like they're playing bongos and everybody's singing, and there's times during the hymns they're clapping and stuff. There was a joyousness there. And I didn't understand majority of what was said because it was all in Spanish.
But there was a purpose.
There was a purpose. There was a priest who has come from Colombia who seems to have really united this church. He's speaking directly to the community, talking about things like the food cupboard. And if you know someone, please, let them know that this is available. We don't want anybody, blah, blah, blah. If there's somebody who has a question about their immigration status, not that we can change that, but we have people who we can get you in touch with to help you figure that out. And it was all those things. And it was like really caring about the people, giving a shit about the people who are sitting in front of them. And I'm like, that's a real man. There's a guy. Right. And I didn't know more than half.
There's a purpose. There's common ground.
Right.
There's camaraderie.
Yeah.
This week, your assignment this week, Ed, is to find people.
That's it. Yes. Go find people. Go connect with somebody. Connect with them. And do it in a good way. Not like, hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
I think my A is going to fit into your B.
Like,
you can fit together like IKEA furniture. Maybe there'll be one screw left over. I don't know. No idea where that came from. For Dan Barillo, I'm Bill Moran. We'll see you next time. Get connected.
Seems they were looking for a Cadillac with Tennessee plates.